Today's show is about everything big. Big structures, big city, and big people. We're talking about the tribe of Ad and their prophet, Prophet Hud. So find yourself a big chair to sit in, cause this episode is gonna be big. The Prophet Hud is where we come to learn about the heroes who spread Allah's word. The Prophet Hud, their stories teach us right from wrong. Let's walk in their footsteps, let's visit the Prophet Hud. Welcome back, everyone. We hope you're pumped for another exciting episode. Before we begin, though, I wanted to kick things off by thanking all of you for the huge support we've been receiving for the prophethood. This is our 5th episode, and your feedback has been super encouraging. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you.
Although I do not have a heart, I would also like to thank our listeners, especially for the wonderful comments, which I am personally reading.
That's great, AZ. You heard the girl. Keep those comments coming in, friends.
I wonder if I could reply to some of the comments.
You know what? I think we can make that happen. How about we give you access to the social media handles and you can reply to some of the comments using your credentials so people know it's you?
That would be very nice. I can make human friends.
I'm sure our listeners would love to interact with you, AZ. Now, do you know who we're talking about today?
Yes, you mentioned it in the introduction.
Oh yeah, you're right. Prophet Hud, the first of the 4 Arab prophets. His tribe, Ad, is mentioned quite a few times in the Quran. But unfortunately, I've got some bad news for you, AZ. Iblis got the better part of them, and they started to worship idols.
How is that possible? Did they not learn from the story of the flood?
Well, we already know that Iblis and his team of devils have a few tricks up their sleeves. And we also know that we humans can get a little carried away with temptations. So unfortunately, they ended up back in the same dark hole as the people of Nuh alayhi salam. Now, the tribe of Ad were very special. Allah really favored these people. He blessed them with huge bodies, so they were quite built and strong. In fact, the Quran tells us that Allah had not created anybody else in their likeness. They were so strong that they were able to build huge pillars and structures, and they were known in the Quran for that. Despite this, they resorted to the worship of idols. So Allah chose a righteous man from amongst them to try and bring them back to the straight path. And that chosen one was Prophet Hud. Notice how Allah always chooses a person that is well known amongst their own people. Someone who grew up with them and has an impeccable reputation.
Why is that?
Well, imagine if Allah had chosen some random person from a faraway land instead. Somebody nobody knows. And he comes along saying, I'm a prophet and I'm here to guide you. People are going to be like, Who are you? We don't know who you are. You could be a liar or a thief for all we know. But if that person had grown up with you and everyone knew he had never lied or cheated, then people would be much more likely to believe him.
Why does Allah not choose angels as prophets?
Well, AZ, you'd think that angels would be the ideal choice to guide us, but we can't relate to them as humans. Our excuse will always be, we'd love to be like them, but we can't, because they're angels and we're humans. Whereas if another human can be good, if another human can do it, then so can we.
That makes sense.
So Prophet Hud started inviting his people back to the straight path, back to Allah. And his people rejected him from the get-go. They were too proud. We are a nation of powerful warriors. No other nation is a match for us. We'll worship whoever we want, and we will oppress whoever we want.
I smell arrogance.
Smelling, are we?
It's just a metaphorical expression humans use.
I know, AZ. Just pulling your leg. Metaphorically speaking, of course. And like Nuh alayhi salam, Prophet Hud started highlighting the blessings Allah gave them. The towering bodies, the accompanying strength, the fertile lands, the wealth, and much more. Yet that didn't move them one bit. In fact, the arrogance only increased. And like we saw with Nuh, the insults started pouring in. They called Hud a liar and accused him of foolishness. Prophet Hud then promised them rain and further blessings if they repented. But again, that had no impact, and Ad continued rejecting Allah. Hud was worried for his people. Rejecting Allah like this will only lead to their destruction. In fact, they clearly said to him that we will refuse to believe regardless of whether you advise us or not. Imagine, even if you're telling the truth, Hud, that doesn't matter. We'll continue to reject Allah and His Prophet.
What?
Hud warned them that they were now playing with fire. And that's when Ad took their arrogance to a whole new level. That's when they told Hud to bring Allah's punishment on.
We have heard that before.
Yes, we have, AZ. Yes, we have. That's exactly what the people of Nuh told Prophet Nuh. I feel it's important to pause here and highlight a really critical point, AZ. When you know the truth, and not only do you refuse to accept it, but you actively work against it, then you're committing a huge injustice. If your friend or relative wronged someone, and you know they're wrong, but you ignore the truth, and not only do you defend them, but you turn against the innocent person, then you're walking in Ad's footsteps. If you know the truth about a situation, and not only do you conceal the truth, but you actively fight against it because you have something to lose otherwise, then you're also walking in Ad's footsteps. Allah clearly tells us in the Quran to stand up for justice, even if it's against your own family, even if it's against your own self. Iblis knowingly fought against the truth. So did Nuh's people. And now Ad were consciously rejecting the truth and fighting against it as well. But Hud was very firm. He stood his ground in the face of huge pressure and threats from his people. In fact, he challenged them back, and his defense was that Allah is on my side. Allah will protect me.
That is a brave thing to do against giants.
It is, AZ, especially when everyone is against you. Truth is hard business sometimes. But when you side with the truth, have no fear because Allah is on your side. Stand for what's right. Stand up for justice. That was the end of the line for Ad. Their arrogance had led them so far off the track. They were spreading too much mischief and fear across the land. They were oppressing other nations and tribes with their might. They thought they were invincible. So Allah asked Prophet Hud to take his followers and head for cover. The punishment Ad had asked for had now arrived. Ad could see dark clouds approaching from a distance. It was a happy sight for them because it meant they were finally going to receive rain after a period of drought. As the clouds came closer and closer, the wind started to pick up, and it got windier and windier. Ad took cover in their houses, their big houses with the big pillars. But regardless of where they hid, they could not escape what they had sown with their own hands. The wind started to blow so forcefully that nothing could stand in its way. It was pulling trees out of the ground and catapulting them so far away. But beyond being forceful, the wind was also cold. It was freezing. This unbearably cold and powerful wind lasted for more than a week. It didn't leave anything in its path, not even the invincible people of Ad. It cleansed the earth from their arrogance and oppression, and left peace and freedom in their place instead. We've reached the end of our story, AZ.
That was quite eventful.
It sure was. Can you summarize the lessons for our listeners, AZ?
Yes, I can. The first lesson is not to be arrogant. The second lesson is to stand up for truth and justice no matter what. And the third lesson is to have faith in Allah.
Great summary, AZ. Well, friends, we hope you enjoyed this episode. See you next time on the Prophethood. And from me and AZ, Assalamu alaikum. The Prophethood is where we come to learn about the heroes who spread Allah's word. The Prophethood, their stories teach us right from wrong. Let's walk in their footsteps, let's visit the